China Tzu volunteers carry out home visitations in Jiangsu Suqian. Thailand Tzu volunteers organized a Mother's Day event at the Wan Nam Dang School. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Neal. Thank you for joining us. First up in China, prior to this year's winter aid distributions, Shanghai Tzu volunteers once again carried out home visitation in Jiangsu Suqian. Upon seeing the arrival of Tzu volunteers, many seniors were moved to tears and looked forward to the upcoming distribution.
Prior to the annual winter aid distributions, Shanghai Tzu volunteers once again traveled to the remote area of Suqian, Jiangsu province. Over the years, Tzu's assistance has become familiar to the local residents. In this remote village, Tzu volunteers deliver blessings with song, which moves this senior couple to tears.
Pain and illness is inevitable in life. Fortunately, you still have each other. To grow old hand in hand with your partner is one of the greatest joys of life.
Thanks to Tzu volunteers' love and care, these poor and sick realize that they are not alone.
We're one big family. We're one big family.
Since the 1991 Eastern China flood, Tzu volunteers found their way to the communities of Jiangsu province. The first winter aid distribution in 2008 created an even closer bond with the local residents. Staying at home along with care recipient Mr. Han, who lost his legs due to kidney disease, the volunteer's presence gives him a reason to cheer up.
As long as we give these needy residents a smile, some caring words, or sing for them, they are already satisfied and happy.
During the two-day home visitations, Tzu volunteers traveled to over 120 villages in Sihong County to visit 857 households in hopes to understand their needs and prepare for the upcoming winter aid distributions.
In Taiwan's Miaoli, a tour bus was involved in an accident where many passengers suffered multiple injuries. Upon learning of the news, Tzu volunteers soon arrived at the hospital to comfort the injured passengers. Here's more.
Inside the emergency room, Tzu volunteers already showed up to care for the injured passengers. The bus accident left the senior resident with a spinal injury.
I didn't know, the bus just turned over and I fell. Other passengers trampled on my body and I couldn't get up.
Now you just need to take a rest and follow the doctor's instruction. Don't worry too much. She's already 78 years old. The car accident caused her a spinal injury. Luhowever, she is quite optimistic. We are here to give her encouragement and relieve her anxious heart.
This tour bus accident occurred in Mangjiuhua, Tongluo Township. Upon learning of the accident, Tzu volunteers soon arrived at the Daqian Hospital to give the injured passengers much-needed emotional support and at the same time noted down their contact information in order to carry out follow-up visitations.
Central Tima volunteers regularly host events for the poor or elderly in central Taiwan's remote regions. Recently, the Tima team traveled to Zhuolan town in Miaoli to offer their care and expertise once again to those in need.
Tima dentists often find themselves treating children who have never seen a dentist and are thus terrified. Dr. Zhu Ziwen and his wife have been working as a team for over a decade and have learned how to get the children they see to relax and open up.
I have felt how everyone here is so incredibly warm and caring. Seeing their efforts, we felt that we had to strive even harder.
We can help a lot of people, from seniors to children. That makes me happy. It is a blessing to be able to help others.
Another person relishing in the joys of giving is Liu Guangzhi. On this trip back to Taiwan from France, Liu, whose sister is also a Tzu volunteer, decided to offer some of his time and expertise.
I've been living in France for 23 years, so this has been a great opportunity to reconnect with those here and form good affinities with everyone.
As the free clinic ends, doctors and patients go home richer in their hearts and healthier in their bodies.
In Malaysia, every month, nurses from the Tzu Chi Cadet Dialysis Center would conduct home visitations to gain a better understanding of patients' living condition. Recently, a group of nurses arrived at the home of dialysis patient Suchadat and encouraged her to show her gratitude to her parents by offering tea and a warm hug. Today, a group of nurses from the Tzu Chi Cadet Dialysis Center in Malaysia are visiting dialysis patient Suchada, who lives in a remote village on the northeast of Kedah.
Other than providing medical assistance, we also want to gain a better understanding of dialysis patients' living condition.
Through a video clip, dialysis patients and their family members realize that Tzu Chi helps the needy regardless of race or faith. The nurses also present them with Tzu Chi's bamboo coin banks as they hope to inspire their compassionate hearts. During their visit, nurses also encouraged Suchada to show her gratitude towards her parents by offering tea and a big hug. The warm gesture has touched the hearts of Suchada's parents.
Thank you to everyone for visiting me and my family. Thank you so much.
Seeing the poor living condition of Suchada and her family, these nurses have realized the concept that when we see suffering, we must constantly recognize our blessings.
I haven't seen anything like this. It is hard for me to imagine that there are still people living in hardship like this.
Thanks to the visit, these nurses are inspired to continue bringing their love and care to all the dialysis patients. As we celebrated Taiwan's Teachers' Day last weekend, we look into the difficulty faced by those who wish to become teachers and those who are already reserved teachers but without jobs. Here's more.
When we are bonding with the children, we face the problem of not knowing where we will be the next year.
Liao Yingxuan, who is passionate towards teaching, is currently a teacher at an elementary school in Yunlin. However, she is worried about her future.
I don't dare tell parents that I am a substitute teacher and that I might not be here next year. I just couldn't say it. It's not good for the parents or students because they might worry.
Over the past decade, Liao has not been able to become a formal teacher as she was faced with the exceeding number of teachers when she graduated from the National Taiwan Normal University.
When the Ministry of Education opened up these education programs, they probably didn't think of the issues that would develop from it. They had no idea that over the next few decades or even longer, many teachers wouldn't be able to find a stable job.
In 1994, the Ministry of Education encouraged all universities to establish education degrees. Students who completed their units, passed an exam and fulfilled their fieldwork would go on to gain a qualified teaching license. Those who have not become formal teachers yet are referred to as reserve teachers.
The end of a semester is always a nerve-wracking time for me, including the exams to follow. I am not just worried, but scared because we don't know what the future will be like.
The declining birth rates also means fewer classes in each grade, and as a result, there are currently 76,000 reserve teachers in Taiwan. Some are able to find jobs as substitute teachers. Nonetheless, the Education Ministry has its own point of view regarding this issue.
Reserve teachers have a variety of choices, including going through training to teach at private institutes. They might not teach elementary or junior high school students as they originally planned.
Yet it is still the dream of many substitute teachers to remain at schools.
It is not really a job, but more of a mission than a profession.
Miss Lee, who is also a substitute teacher at an elementary school, really wants to be an educator.
After 3 years of study, there were already limited vacancies. In Taipei alone, they only opened up some 10 jobs. When I finished my fieldwork, the Education Ministry even had stopped holding admission exams.
Having worked hard to become qualified teachers, many are still faced with limited vacancies. To help, the government allows teachers to teach in their specific field and have also reduced the number of classes.
The demand will vary in different subjects or stages of teaching. So regarding this area, we will ensure quality teachers are trained and there are enough to foster our capacity.
However, many teachers wonder if the government's plan is creating more issues than resolving them.
If the government is not able to open up any vacancies, they should probably consider extending the contract period for substitute teachers. I don't mind not having any benefits, but at least I want to have a more stable job.
Of all the elementary and junior high schools in Taiwan, there are 16,000 substitute teachers and another 60,000 reserve teachers without a job. The government has clearly trained more teachers than it needs, and the imbalance of supply and demand of teachers is another issue that will need to be soon dealt with.
In our next report, we meet Tzu Chi volunteer Hong Miaozhen, who was an elementary school teacher with 33 years of experience. After retirement, Hong decided to become a full-time volunteer, spreading Tzu Chi's humanistic values in schools.
I focus a lot on morality. I think when children have good moral values, their academic performances will not be bad.
Hong Miaozhen was an elementary school teacher with 33 years of experience. After retirement, she has become a full-time volunteer. Every week, Hong visits local schools to spread Tzu Chi's humanistic values.
Today, I want to share a story with you guys. It is a true story.
The first thing Hong Miaozhen wants these students to learn is to recognize happiness.
We are talking about their level of happiness because these students need to learn to be happy. When they have the ability to give, they will find happiness.
To inspire the children, Hong has thoughtfully used stories to explain the meaning behind things to aphorisms.
She is very happy because she has a pure and simple heart.
Miss Chen Shuju has been spreading her great love in this society. I realized that helping others makes us happier. I have to take care of 20 to 30 students all by myself. Sometimes I'm not able to care for them closely, so the Tzu Chi brothers and sisters are very experienced with helping. Their teaching style is different from the typical preaching style.
Other than teaching junior high school and elementary school students, Hong also teaches inmates at the local drug abuse treatment center.
This is my uniform. Which organization am I from? That's right, I'm from Tzu Chi Foundation.
Hong Miaozhen always faces different kinds of students and has her way to communicate with them. She says the most important thing she focuses on is morality.
We need to use filial piety to remind them to think good thoughts. It also helps them to establish good moral values.
40 years ago, Hong Miaozhen decided to dedicate the rest of her life to teaching. 40 years later, after retirement, she still insists on teaching because she hopes to plant seeds of goodness in everyone's heart.
We need to use our sincerity to interact and communicate with them. We will be very happy when they take in the values we teach them.
Mother's Day in Thailand falls on August 12th. To celebrate the day, Tzu Chi volunteers in Bangkok traveled to the Wat Nam Dang school to organize an event through which students had a chance to honor their mothers. For both the children and their parents, it was a moving time and one that showed once again that love can overcome anything.
As part of their Mother's Day celebration, students here at the Wat Nam Dang School in Thailand wash their mothers' feet as a symbol of their gratitude for all their hard work.
Today has been a moving day. When I was little, my mother carefully raised me and took care of me. Now that I'm older, I want to repay that care.
What I have seen from my daughter today has been very moving. I hope this event is held every year.
A hug and a cup of tea expresses the love these children have for their mothers and helps bring both parents and children closer together in love and understanding.
My granddaughter used to be quite naughty, but since coming to know Tzu Ji, she has become much better behaved. When I ask her to do something, she listens.
I want to thank my mother for giving me life. Therefore, I will study hard and be a good daughter.
10-year-old Jerapom has nothing but gratitude for her mother, who has had to raise both her and her sick brother alone while working to support the family. To help, Jerapom has already become adept at helping out around the house.
I see that sometimes my mother is very tired. It is a tough job, so I will massage her when I can and also offer encouragement.
Seeing the heavy burden that Jerapom's mother has to carry, starting from last year, Tzu Ji took the family under its wing, bringing both emotional and financial support.
Regarding the help Tzu Ji has given our family, I really don't know how to repay that. So I have tried to give back by offering my time as a volunteer for Tzu Ji.
Now the mother-daughter pair will join Tzu Ji volunteers in helping others in need. In doing so, not only have they been able to reciprocate Tzu Ji's kindness, but has also taken the important step of going from recipient to giver.
Hong Kong Tzu Ji volunteer DaAi Headline lost her son to suicide 5 years ago. During one of the most painful times of her life, it was the Dharma in her heart which helped her walk out of sadness, and it was the care of her fellow Tzu Ji volunteers that helped her regain the strength to love once again.
When speaking of her son's suicide 5 years ago, DaAi Headline is calm and collected.
I tell others that in order for their loved ones to rest in peace, they must be in peace themselves. I can't just tell others but not do it myself.
I told her if she needs to cry, then she should just let it all out. But she never cries.
Zhang withholds her sadness as she wants to extend her sincerest blessings to her son.
The Master tells us to accept the consequences with joy so we won't be in so much pain. Only when we accept with joy can we let go of our hatred and resentment.
What moved me the most is that she even represented her family in making a tribute to her son. This is something most people wouldn't be able to do.
Zhang held Master Zheng Yan's words close to her heart as she devoted herself wholeheartedly to Tzu Ji work that year. And this year she has taken on the role as coordinator for the Water Repentance Sutra performance, which will be staged in celebration of the 20th anniversary of the Tzu Ji Hong Kong chapter.
The 37 Principles of Enlightenment mentions that speaking harsh words is karma of speech. It really stunned me when I read it, as it means we should be more mindful in our speech.
Participating in the sutra performance has allowed Zhang to develop a deeper understanding of the Buddhist scripture.
We might have done many wrongful deeds in the past which we were unaware of, but we are reminded of them by the Buddhist scriptures.
Accepting life's impermanence and understanding that all things eventually comes to an end, Zhang's heart no longer harbors any regrets.
In the United States, Oakland Tzu Ji volunteers held a tea gathering in the local community where they prepared vegetarian dishes for the participants. As well, in Northern California, Tzu Ji honorable members organized a music gathering, making the room full of Tzu Ji's humanistic spirit.
In Northern California, the United States, Tzu Ji honorary board members are here attending a music gathering.
When I have the opportunity to take part in a Tzu Ji event, I feel it is my honor to participate. The Tzu Ji Foundation is well known for its well-planned operation and teamwork.
To me, this is no big deal. I have always wanted to help the Tzu Ji Foundation.
As the music gathering concludes on a perfect note, the honorary board members are once again refilled with Tzu Ji's humanistic spirit and ready themselves to give back to society. Meanwhile, at the Tzu Auckland Liaison Office, volunteers invited local residents to join them in a tea gathering, where they have the chance to taste Tzu's signature vegetarian dishes. Among the volunteers is 84-year-old brother Feng, who shares his tip on staying healthy with the participants.
I'm more than 80. I'm 84 years old. Though I suffered from a stroke before, my body is still healthy. Why is that? I think that is because I eat vegetarian food and I don't kill animals. That's the benefit of being a vegan.
Sister Qiu Hong also seizes the opportunity to share her experience of Tzu with the participants.
If you save a little for the less fortunate today, you will be immersed with joy. Even when you close your eyes, you can still sense that kind of joy.
Cherishing their affinity with all participants, Tzu volunteers sincerely welcome everyone to join their ranks.
In Canada, the Tzu Toronto Academy opened for the start of a new semester. Tzu volunteers and Tzu were all present to assist teachers and students in the classroom. Director at the Tzu Canada chapter, He Guoqing, said that one of the characteristics at the Tzu Academy is the presence of volunteers, making the environment full of love for the students to study in.
3,
Here at the Tzu Academy in West Toronto, on the first day back at school, teachers quickly guide students into the learning mode. DaAi mothers and Tzu are also present to assist in the classroom.
The environment doesn't provide our children with Chinese culture or heritage, whereas here at Tzu, our kids can learn about filial piety and respect. This is something our children cannot learn from Western culture.
Meanwhile, a seminar is taking place for parents to better understand the educational foundation here at the Tzu Academy.
I spoke a lot with your volunteers. Tzu's humanitarianism emits everywhere. For instance, you collect plastic bottles and other items which can be recycled and reused. I'm very impressed by this.
The Tzu Academy in North Toronto is the 8th Tzu Academy to be established in Canada. After 3 years of preparation, the Academy is finally opened on this day. Volunteers from Coquitlam, Toronto, Mississauga and Ottawa came to extend their well wishes.
When students come here and see so many welcoming and smiling faces, they too feel the love. Eventually, they will pass this love on to others. This is what the Academy hopes to contribute to society.
He Guoqing says one of the characteristics of the Tzu Academy is its group of volunteers who makes the students' learning environment one filled with love.
We go back to Taiwan at the end of the show. The recent typhoons have left the coastline around Yilan County Strongway Township with massive amount of garbage. To clean up the area, the local township office has invited local residents and charity organizations to lend a helping hand, including Tzu. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.